What a night under the lights. Season has lifted off. Take a bow, Jaden Philogene, hat-trick hero. Who would have thought I've been saying them words a couple of weeks ago? Welcome back to Where the Town Walk with myself, Luke, and today we've got Ian and Rich. Ian, what a game. A result that was really, really needed.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I always go to games on an evening match when we're live on Sky with a degree of trepidation, because at times in the past we haven't really won ourselves over with the country. I've said, yeah, I'm going to watch Ipswich, absolutely brilliant. Then we go out and it's like, you weren't that good, guys. So yeah, to have a great game, great victory, good result on a Friday night, it just set the whole weekend up. So that was, and then it was followed by some really fortunate results across Saturday as well, which is good as well. So yeah, it was good to have a good win under our belts. It's been a tough year.
Yeah, definitely. Great result in the end, weren't it, Rich? Not only to get 3 points, but to get the clean sheet, to get the 5 goals. What a way to do it.
I mean, look, going into the game, I think any of us would have took a scruffy 1-0 victory. You know, just to get the monkey off your back when you haven't won at home for since 30th, I think it was 30th of December, wasn't it, when we played Chelsea? And then we set like a record there, a number of defeats. See, the thing is, I know we won 5-0. I didn't think we played that well. I think there's a lot more to come from this squad. And look, I know it takes 2 teams. I thought Sheffield United were decent for 50 minutes, and the second goal went in, and then they just literally collapsed like a deck of cards, didn't they?
Yeah. No, I actually agree with what you say. I don't think performance-wise was probably our best performance we've seen for a while, but it was a step up than what we have seen this season, and that's the main thing. Is comparing it to what it's been like the last couple of weeks, and I think there was. Maybe the cohesion still obviously isn't going to be there just yet, but I think some individuals really stepped up, and we'll get onto them now. So we'll save the Jaden one for a little bit longer, a little bit later, because we are obviously going to talk about him. But someone that I do want to mention, and I don't know about you boys, but I think Furlong had a brilliant debut. Ian, what do you think? Was you impressed with the fullback?
It was a great performance. It took us everyone by surprise when we purchased him, and it's a mixed response from the West Brom fans about the quality of the player. I had a look through and I thought, this guy's got the potential, but it's been a really difficult position for us to fill since probably the days when Luke Chambers was being pushed out to the right back, and I don't think really anybody has stepped into that position and made it their own. Clarkie's given it a go. We've had people like Ben Johnson drop in there. Axel Twanzebe had a pretty good stab at it. Ashley Young. Nobody has gone in and say, I am the Ipswich Town right back going forward. And I really do think that Furlong put his cards on the table and said, do you want someone? I can do it. I may be not going deep on the attacking runs, but I'm going to be solid, dependable. And I think that's really helped O'Shea and Greaves, knowing that right back position is fairly solid, and they do not have to worry too much, especially with Davis pushing forward a lot more on Friday than he normally does. It allows them to operate that rotating back 3 to a degree quite well. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I think it gives confidence for the whole team having that defensive, a player with them defensive capabilities. It allows the McAteers and the Akpoms and the Smodics, etc., to go in a little bit more freely, because they know they've got someone behind them that will mop up. And I think he mopped up, him and Matthew Seaver, Rich. I think them two really mopped up that defensive unit quite well.
Yeah, I think if you talk about Furlong, I think when you sign a player, the best test for me is your eye test. See what the player brings yourself. We can all go on social media and they'll say, fans, oh, he's not a lot of good, this, that, and the other. But I thought, what I liked with him, Luke, was his crispness of passes. He'd fire them balls in, great in the air. I mean, he's not like, I'm not sure quite how tall he is, but he's not like the biggest, is he? But I thought, literally, he times his leap. I mean, Louis Barry, once of IP1. I know he was just on loan. He didn't really get a sniff, did he? And look, we just hope that if he can stay fit, he's played about 250 games for West Brom. He's been their captain. So I think it was quite an astute signing. Yeah, Matasiwa, I think he's literally from Birmingham. If you go from Birmingham to Sheffield United, I think every single game he's improved. I don't know if you heard, Luke, they said on Sky The only thing that he's struggling with at the minute is finding somewhere to live. He's on his third house since he's been here. He's only been here like 5 minutes. But
Ipswich ain't that bad of a place.
That's what I thought. But I thought, look, he's learning. I think you see them first 2 games. He got booked in the first half in both of them games. He's not got a booking since, and I think it's hard to compare him and Morsey because Sam Morsey brought so much to the football club. But I think from what I've seen so far, he knows where to be. He knows when to win that ball, and he'll give it to the players who are better footballers around him, which I like. Do your job, pass it on to like a Cajuste or a Nunez, and I think we're gonna probably see the best of him in the next few weeks. And then if you get that flow, we're playing Saturday, Tuesday. You could get a run of games together. The only concern for me is if he picks up an injury. I don't really think we've got a natural replacement for him in our squad at the minute. So it's just fingers crossed that he can sort of stay clear of injuries and suspensions.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. We probably don't have a like-for-like replacement for him. But Ian, a few words on Matthew Seaver. I know you like.
Yeah, I like him.
That sort of side of things.
Like Rich said, the pace of the game is different from legal, and I think that he was behind the pace, led to both those yellow cards. But now, not only is he getting happy in his position, I think he understands where he is in the team, working with O'Shea as a captain and not him as a captain. I also feel that Furlong gave him that confidence to maybe go up a little bit more. I think he was playing a little bit more defensive, which meant that link up between him and whoever's can play alongside him, whether it be Cajuste or Taylor, as it was at the start of the season. That's given Matthew Seaver that little bit more confidence to go forward, knowing that he hasn't got to keep checking over his right hand shoulder. And he's a really strong player. And people question the amount of money we paid for him because he wasn't really known outside of European football. But he's settling into it well. And I think we said before, as long as it doesn't take 75 minutes to get into the game, and he's proven that he doesn't. And it's good. I'm confident with him in the middle. And there were a couple of Morsey style tackles on Friday night. But you're right, Rich. They are the biggest boots to fill, and they maybe won't ever be filled. But he's a pretty good second. So.
Yeah. It's probably unfair, isn't it, to try and compare the two? Morsey goes down as a legend of the club, and I think we've got to look forward. And I think, he was class. I think his interceptions and his tackles as well. He's got them. He's got them short. He's a short player, so he's got quite short legs. But he gets them legs in them positions, doesn't he? And he just wraps it around the defender.
And like Rich said, that quick distribution is really key in a fast transition, a team that we like to be. You've got to get that ball to your creative players as quickly as possible. So that is a really big tick in the box for me.
Yeah, no, definitely. Right, Rich, we've got to talk about it, haven't we? I mean, I have been one of his critics. I'm not going to sit here and say I wasn't. I think a lot of us were. But Jaden Philogene, to announce yourself, and what a performance. Let's just say that to start with. What a performance.
It is interesting. I was listening to Mick Mills after the game saying that, and he's probably right. Most people have criticised Philogene so far. But football fans, we are so fickle, aren't we? Because 1 minute, he's not very good. But I personally probably wouldn't have started him on Friday. I think there was an argument for Jack Clark maybe to come in after that sort of the cameo he had against Derby. But, I mean, if we look at the goals, you're probably too young, Luke, to remember. Ian will probably remember Daly and Atkinson's hat-trick against Middlesbrough. I think that was 88. I was 12 then. And I would compare that to that hat-trick with probably one of the best hat-tricks I've seen at Portman Road. I mean, every goal just seemed to... It got better, didn't it? I mean, the first one's a great finish. The second one, and I mean the third, oh my Lord. But he's set that bar for himself, and he's not going to do that every single week. But I just think now he just needs to bring that little bit of consistency to his game. I think he's quite laid back, and maybe we have to just accept that sometimes he gets the ball and maybe he slows play down. But, I mean, Ben Godfrey, oh my Lord. I mean, he had a nightmare, didn't he? He's probably... He didn't shine when he was in a blue and white shirt, but I mean, he came up against Philogene when he was at the top of his game, didn't he? On Friday night, he was just unreal.
Yeah, you're right. I think again we mentioned it a lot, but football is a confidence game, and you saw once he scored that first goal, he was off then, wasn't he? He was taking on his defender. I mean, that third goal, he steps quick step over to unbalance the fullback, which probably I think it was Godfrey, and then just to fire one home on his left peg. I think it was a really good performance, and I just really hope that he stays consistent. And that's the next thing, isn't it, Ian? Is you put on a performance like that, it's now trying to stay consistent with him.
Yeah, I mean, and there are two areas we've spoken about: consistency and confidence. And I think one of the problems we had at Ipswich is our two left-hand key players, Davis and Philogene, are both what I would call confidence players. And, we've seen the drop in form related directly to their confidence, both those guys. And something clicked on Friday, whether it's something they've been doing in practice, in training, but both guys clicked on Friday, and that confidence was evident for everybody to see. And again, that third goal, he'd sold that right-hand running move to the right back. It set it up for number 3. But there is probably an argument to be had that if he'd have missed those 3 shots, somebody might be saying, he's hogging the ball again. But as the great Wayne Gretzky of ice hockey fame said, that you miss 100% of the shots that you never take. So you got to take the shot. You got to have a go. And it's now, I think, our next game is going to be interesting. I think Blackburn will be building a defensive picture based on the fact of defending that right back position, which should leave room for Hurst and potentially Akpom if he starts to maybe look at something coming through the middle as well. So that's the idea now. Set up a threat that teams try to defend, and then we hit them from somewhere else. Casey on the right hand side maybe does exactly the same. So it should be interesting to see what happens at Blackburn.
Yeah, I think I just want to mention Leif Davis. I think another thing about the goals was his involvement in especially 2 of Jaden's goals. And I don't know if you noticed, but I think he started. Normally, Davis hugs the touchline and starts quite high and wide. But on Friday night, he was making them late runs, and I think that really helps when you have a winger like Jaden or Jack Clark, because then David, when they come in onto their right foot that they do like doing, Davis has 2 options. Then he can either make the inverted run or he can make the overlapping run. And by arriving late, it then gives we saw it, didn't we? Godfrey, I think it was for the first goal.
Yeah.
He clearly takes a step because he thinks he's going to play it to Davis, and that obviously gives Jaden more than half a yard. So I think that's important. It's just finding them partnerships, which again is going to take time. I think we really saw a good positive performance from both of them together on that side. And another thing that I'd like to talk about, because it's been so long, is Palmer has kept a clean sheet. How important is that, Rich, to finally keep that clean sheet?
Well, if you look at the game so far, I think we've been defensively pretty good, but we've always made a mistake, haven't we, in every single game? And like the Birmingham game, that one where we tried to play out. I thought there was a couple of times, maybe in the first half, a couple of hairy moments there, trying to pass out from the back. But we're not going to stop how we play, Luke, like that. And that's just, I know people, you can hear it in the stadium sometimes. You just think, we've been doing this for 3 years under Kieran McKenna, Have you not been watching how we play? But I thought O'Shea had a couple of dodgy sort of passes in the first half. See, I like Greaves when he gets that ball and he drives forward, But look, they're 2 good players. I said before, are they a good partnership? I'll still, the jury's out for me, but look, it's like you say, it is confidence. Sheffield United, I don't know what you thought, Luke. I thought when I see the team news, I couldn't believe it. Hamer and Campbell, probably their 2 best players were on the bench. But then that was obviously, you got a manager there who obviously he's lost his job now, that he was trying to find that formula, wasn't he? He was trying to he knew that he was in his last chance saloon. He probably thought, I'll leave them out and play someone else. But I thought defensively, we're pretty good, and it'd be good to get another clean sheet, wouldn't it, and build on that, because I think we're going to score plenty of goals, but you've still got to keep that back door closed, because not every week we're going to win 5-0. There's going to be games when it's going to be tight. You might nick a 1-0 win, and just keep that back door shut, and it's confidence all over the pitch, and you could feel it lifting in the stadium as soon as that second goal went in. Because I thought the crowd were even still at 1-0. We were a little bit nervous. As soon as the second goal went in, it was game over, and it was party time, wasn't it?
It was indeed. Quickly, what you said about the team selection for Sheffield United, I was very, very confused by that. I think Ruben Sells, obviously, he's now at the time of recording, he's now been given the boot, which I think we all expected. But yeah, it was really, really strange. I mean, I I always like to brief the missus on the other team and say, oh, who we need to look out for. And I was talking to her all about Hammer and saying, listen, he's the guy for Sheffield United. And then he was sitting on the bench. So I was like, oh, well, that's that not to worry about straight away, which again gives us a little boost. I want to talk about our bench, and I think sensational to look at that team sheet and see that bench. I think it really shows a good depth in the squad, doesn't it, Ian?
Yeah, I mean,
we might have lost Ian there. What about you, Rich? What did you think to the squad depth?
Well, look, this is probably where Kieran wanted to be at the start of the season, you know. And I think now, looking back over the window and looking back over the summer,
happy
I think
to have in their starting.
Oh, is he back?
I'm back. Sorry about that.
Oh.
Yeah, I just had to take a phone call from Sam Morsey in Q8 watching know how the game went. Apologies for that. Yeah, I think our bench is
so connected.
Our bench is phenomenal. It is. Do you know, if we were struggling at 0-0 with like 10 minutes to go, if you can pull that kind of bench onto the park, then it's going to lift the team. And you know, when Nunez came on, you just felt everyone's heart rate went up about 5 or 6 beats, and the anticipation and everybody willing him to kind of, you know, when he took that free kick, if that had gone in that top corner, I think the whole ground would have just erupted. So yeah, it's definitely an area where teams have, you know, fallen down. I think we've been questioned when we were in the Championship last time about, oh, Ipswich haven't got the depth. Well, there's no questions now that we've certainly recruited well in that position, certainly.
Yeah. Go on, Rich. The squad depth, brilliant.
Yeah, but back to summer, I think, look, when you look now, and I think you're always going to lose. There's going to be a big turnover of players from a relegated team. So maybe we needed to be a little bit more patient. But I think we are now where we want to be. Look, we're going to get injuries and suspensions. Touching on Nunez, I mean, already he's played about half an hour of football. He's got that connection with the crowd, and you see when he goes to warm up down by the North Stand. I mean, we're going to be sitting here in 3 Sundays' time after Norwich. I mean, if we beat Norwich and he has a great... I mean, I can't quite comprehend what might happen. We stress might happen on that day, because I think it's just going to be... Derby Day's always ramped up in it. I mean, this one, the build-up the week before was going to be just... I just think something real special.
Come on, tractor boys. That's his favourite phrase, isn't it? Come on, tractor boys. Love it. Absolutely love it. Like I said, it's important for these new players to build that, because like we touched on a previous show, we had such a connection to the team, that obviously back-to-back promotion. So it is important to yes, we discussed we've got real good squad depth now and real good high quality player, but to also get the connections with these sort of new players, I think it is important. And I don't know about you, Ian, but I also felt the crowd go up when Ageli came on. I felt like everyone, as soon as he got the ball, everyone was like, "Oh, what's he going to do? What's he going to do?" And I think he's going to be an exciting player, isn't he?
Absolutely. I think, again, 2 weeks ago, people had never heard of him. You know, exception here, of course. But yeah, he's a phenomenal talent. And I spoke to people. I said, "Have you not looked at his videos?" "Nah, what's he guy?" I said, "Literally, this guy is. If you could build a footballer like a robot, it would be him." And there was a slight. You could see there was this slight degree of, you know, he's trying maybe a little bit hard. So I think he needs to just relax. I think McKenna's said the same. You know, he's not going to push the guy. He's only 19. It's a big jump up from to Danish football to the Championship. But yeah, I mean, willing to take a poke at goal from about 30 yards out, which ultimately led in a deflection, which led to the Clark goal. You know, that shows the guy's willing to kind of actually go for it. So yeah, it'll be interesting how that right wing develops, if that's where he's going to be putting him, because I think McAteer's had a good start to his life as an Ipswich Town player as well. So yeah, it's going to be another strong area, with Burns hopefully coming back second week in November as well. It's going to throw up a few problems for McKenna.
Yeah, no, definitely. What a night though, under the lights. We've had some really, really good ones, haven't we, at Portman Road? It's such a lovely place to be on an evening, whether it's a Tuesday night, Friday night, whatever it is. I just want to take a bit to discuss your favourite memory from a night game. So, Rich, we'll start with you. What's your try and keep it? You know, someone like me can understand what the players that you're talking about. So try.
Well, we went for so many years without doing anything, didn't we? So it's probably going to be pretty recent, and it's going to be in people's minds. Rotherham, I know that wasn't the greatest game, was it? When we were, but it was a great finish. I'll save Southampton for one of you two because that's probably the obvious. Look, the Bristol City game at home when we were struggling, weren't we? Missed a penalty, 2-1 down, and then we come back, and then Leif Davis gets that winner. And what's the Sky commentator? They think this Ipswich Town team are going to wither away, but we didn't. But it is a special place. It is a special place under the lights. I remember beating Man United under the lights when Burley was manager, Luke, in the League Cup. That was a great one. Tarico bent one in the top corner. But look, hopefully there'll be some more special nights this season.
Yeah, definitely. What about you, Ian? Your favourite nights?
I'm very fortunate that I started going to Portman Road at 76. So I think the ability to see Barcelona with Johan Cruyff play at Portman Road was always special. And there's something special about those European nights. And as much as I love that Southampton game and the Bolton Wanderers playoff semi-final, I think, if we were to have the same fixtures today where we beat Inter Milan 1-0, Alan Armstrong, wasn't it? I think, if we had that game today in today's money, and today it would be such a big thing. But it seemed to pass everybody by. But I wasn't lost in the moment. I thought, we just smashed them 1-0 at home. This is brilliant. Evening game, European football, top Italian team. So, if we had that moment again now, it would be so different. And it's amazing, just in such a short period of 10, 12 years, such a difference in the approach from the crowd, from the television, all those things rolled in together.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sorry, as we've touched on, I'm sorry. My memories probably start around 2003, 2004, going to Portman Road. That was probably where my memories sort of start. But a game that I always remember is it was a Tuesday night League Cup game against Arsenal. Thomas Priskin 1-0. We have seen it more recently, obviously the stadium erupts, but I've never seen the stadium up until that point erupt like it did on that day. So yeah, that was a big one for me as a young teenager going to seeing that game. And I remember I had some seats quite close to the away bench, so seeing some of the likes of Cesc Fabregas and players like that up close was definitely one. And then obviously to go and beat them was brilliant. We did lose the second leg, but we won't talk about that. That's fine. Right, it is now time for tweet of the week. So tweet of the week, which sort of we've touched on already with the squad depth, but I just thought it was brilliant because it comes from another fan. I can't remember what sort of what team he supports, but it's someone else watching the game on Friday night, and they said Ipswich Town have a cheat code: 4-0 up and bringing on Azon, Jack Clark, Nunez, Schmodix, and Egeli. And I think that is a great way to wrap up talking about the game and the season ahead. We've got a lot to look forward to, haven't we, Rich?
Yeah, look, I think Ian touched on it earlier. If you look at the results over the weekend, there's a lot of draws, weren't there, this weekend? And we're 6 points? We're only 7 points off the top of the table. And then you look at these next batch of fixtures up to Norwich, Blackburn away. Look, they haven't won at home. They had a good win at the weekend. They obviously beat Watford. That's a game I think we've got to look to build now on Friday's performance against Sheffield United. You've got to look now to build a little bit of momentum, because if we can win that game, heading into Portsmouth at home, I watched them today. I thought they've done quite well at Southampton. If you can get a couple of back-to-back wins off the back of this win, it's going to shoot us right up the table. And we could get headed into that Norwich game, we could be in really, really good shape. But it's all about the next game, isn't it? It's all about they'll train well this week. Tough place to go, Blackburn, but I'll be expecting us, Luke, to go there and get another victory now, because we have to now. The season's, like you said, the season's started, and now's the time to build that momentum. Definitely.
What do you think, Ian? Is this the start of our season proper?
I put it as last week, actually, when we got that draw to Derby. To me, that was when we started the season. So I'll still start at that point, because undefeated from that point onwards, put the Preston game behind us. But yeah, I think Rich is right. We need to go to Blackburn with that mentality. Portsmouth at home is going to be interesting, because Chaplin very quickly is becoming key to their attacking ethos. I think Colby Bishop is going to really wish Chaplin was playing against us, and he won't be. So I think we can use that as a strength. Because again, that's always a good atmosphere when Pompey come down anyway. So yeah, we need to be able to put teams to bed. We need to be more dominant. We need to be more arrogant maybe as well. And we've got players now who are new to the club will be able to bring that degree of arrogance, and because we've not done it in the past. We don't like being the favourites, and consequently at the start of the season, this season we've struggled with that initial form. We've had that mantra, the Ipswich, they're going to win this division outright. I mean, we're still, I think, joint favourites in the bookies' eyes as well. So we need to actually step up to the plate. We need to meet people's expectations, and the only way you do that is to boss the pitch and have a degree of arrogance. I know it doesn't always sit well with the style of football Ipswich like to play, but we're going to need to do that. Certainly away at Blackburn, which is a very winnable fixture, like Rich said.
Yeah. And something else you touched on earlier, Ian, to do with the Blackburn, how they were set up. I think that's something I'm looking at now. Sheffield United, they came to play, so fair play to them, they came to play, but obviously we clearly outplayed them. It's now the next step is going away to these teams, or sometimes when they come to us and they're in their low blocks and we're trying to find their way through. I think that's going to be the next step for us, is to try and win them games, because we haven't in recent history, we haven't been very good at trying to get through a team that are in a low block. So I think that's going to be important. If we go to Blackburn on Saturday and they set up in a low block and we come away, even with a 1-0, 2-1, whatever it is, but if we come away with 3 points, I think again that's a big confidence boost for the group. McKenna keeps touching on little moments that he says that, like, building the mentality again in the team. He talked about the goal against Derby. He talks about different things, and I think that'll be another moment for the group to go through a game like that and come out with 3 points. So well done, boys. Thank you very much. I think that's it's so much nicer conversation when we have 3 points, isn't it? Long may that continue. So thank you, Ian. Thank you, Rich. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Please like and subscribe. Also, please comment below on your favourite nights under the lights at Portman